Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining our webinar on how to get the most bang from your social media buck. My name is JD Bradenbach. I'll be presenting this evening. Without further ado, let's jump into it. So tonight, basically what we're going to be covering is what is social media, why most people don't actually get clients from social media. Is it about followers? Is it about engagement? What is the best way to leverage your social media presence, and a few little top tips and tricks that you can use. So let's kick it off. What is social media? It's basically websites or applications that enable users to create and share content or to participate in social networking. I'm sure you already know the likes of Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, etc. They all pretty much started getting on the scene after in the mid 2000s, somewhere around there, and has exponentially grown from there. This has definitely revolutionized the way that companies can market and also grow their client base. I mean, let's go think back into the 90s. We all remember the Wolf of Wall Street. I mean, it was a whole bunch of guys in a call center just bashing out calls. Then you had the people knocking on doors, people picking up the yellow pages, phoning, people buying email databases and just blasting off emails and hoping for the best, doing the same thing with SMSs and the like. So when social media came to the forefront, it really changed it. This definitely does allow firms to leverage their growth exponentially. But I mean, what is the right way to go about it? So that leads me to my second point, why most people don't get clients. Now, from just my experience in the marketing space and talking to clients and talking to different people in the sector and whatnot, we kind of find that there's a lot of fly-by-night people that come in there, they try and figure out a little way to game an algorithm that works for a short period of time, and they're a hero until it doesn't. We got to remember that, we got to put ourselves in the shoes of the Googles. We got to put ourselves in the shoes of the Facebooks and the LinkedIns. How do they make money? They make money by ad revenue. So if there's a loophole, they pay very, very intelligent people that studied at MIT to go in and find ways to close these loopholes so that they can increase their profitability. Now that we understand that, we know that we really need to go back to the core fundamentals, which we will definitely be discussing a little bit later. Added to which, it is a pay-to-play environment. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, this is exactly why these companies are, they're all listed on the major stock exchanges, etc. It's a pay-to-play environment. Unfortunately, if you are a company that is a single grocer versus a behemoth like Spar or Pick and Pay, your budgets aren't going to be the same. But let's say you've got on the low end of the spectrum a 15 to 20K budget a month just for ad revenue. How can you actually go ahead and out-niche your competitors? The simple story is you've got to create a clever strategy and run around that campaign. When you're doing your ads, make sure that your ads don't look like ads, but however that they need to be catchy. Followers or engagement. At the end of the day, it does look phenomenal when someone comes on your page and they see you posting 3 or 4 times a day. Great. You've got 1,000 followers, phenomenal. But I mean, how are you leveraging those followers to actually bring you in new business? Let's say, for example, you're a company in the mining space and you've got everyone that's following you, everyone that works in telcos. There's going to be a huge disconnect. There's no way that the crowd that you are trying to service is by any means going to follow up and try and buy machinery or whatever that you're selling for the mining space. So you really need to develop your specific client avatar, and that does come back down to the pay-to-play environment. Now, once you've got the avatar, you know who to market to. And this is going to lead me to, I've probably flown through here, but there's a lot here, the best way to actually leverage your social media. Now, as we discussed a little bit earlier, we need to pay. We need to define a client avatar. Once we've defined the client avatar, we need to use social media as a stepping stone to cover the core fundamentals. Now, asking yourself what really is the core fundamentals, the end of the day, you need to capture a specific leads contact details. That's it. The be all and end all. That is where marketing ends, and that is where the sales department starts. Now, there are, how do I put this now? There are a lot of problems that I've also noticed with a lot of firms and potential clients that want to come on board. We've seen this. I mean, it comes basically down to the core of the strategy. A lot of your smaller, medium enterprise companies, they are, and I don't mean to say this in a bad way, they are good at what they do, but they're a jack of all trades. So they're trying to sell product A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Instead of being clever, one must encapsulate that entire brand and actually run some proper business development on the back of that. What that basically means is you need to start layering your service. So instead of having A, B, C, D, E, F, G, if you can group A, B, and C together, let's say they are closely aligned, even though they might be slightly different, let's say, even though they are aligned, you can create a campaign to sell for all of them, all three of the products, but group them better. That's one example. Another one is creating low and high ticket items. A low ticket item is something that you use basically for free, something that you almost lose money on. The idea is to get someone, pull them in through to your funnel, which we'll be discussing in the next moment. Get them to either pay you a very small amount or alternatively hand over their name, surname, telephone number, and email address. Now, funnels, as I mentioned earlier. I mean, what is a funnel? I'm pretty sure you've heard about funnels. If you've researched marketing, you must have picked it up. But basically, a funnel is a way that you can capture someone's contact details via providing value of some sort. So for those that joined this webinar, I'll take you through the journey that you got here, how you joined me this evening. You were scrolling on Facebook, we targeted you, you saw an ad, you said, this is interesting. You clicked on the link diverted you through to another mini landing page, which is it's a mini website of sorts, which we ran through and we explained what we're going to be discussing tonight, why we're doing it, what are the benefits for you, asked you to sign up, explained a little bit more content, asked you to sign up, etc. And now you are here. There's also different ways to do it. Let's say, for example, you are in the property space. You can create what we call is a lead magnet, where you can write an article and say the top 5 things you need to know before you sell your property in South Africa. Boom. Now, anyone that floats onto your website and sees this is immediately going to be interested because it's got that clickbaity approach. They want to understand what's behind it, and they're actually willing to go ahead and give away their contact details. But you need to provide the value behind that. Go as clickbaity as possible, but make sure that you have the value to back it. Otherwise, people are going to get irate, and it's also going to hamper your whole sales process running together. Now, social media is basic. All your social media sites is a stepping stone. It's what you use to advertise, to get more eyes, to send people through to your websites and to your landing pages so that you can get people to sign up. Now, a couple of tips and tricks. When it comes to marketing is not like, it isn't a one-trick pony. You need to look at it from a holistic perspective. Yes, posting is great, but you mustn't be just posting for pleasure. You also must be posting for a purpose. At the same time, walking that tightrope of providing value and being salesy, but not too salesy, because, if you're just being salesy the whole time, no one is going to follow your page. No one is going to sign up. People want stuff for free. That is the be all and end all. And that is how most people's psychology works. You've also got the element of greed and fear that floats into that. And once you understand the psychology behind the buyer, you know exactly how to leverage it and take it forward. I'll open up any questions from anyone. What I will be doing is we've got a little bit of a cheat sheet where I'm going to go a lot more in depth than what I went tonight, and you can take it up from there. Wishing you a fantastic evening. And thanks so much for joining. Cheers for now.